Your house number could be the reason you're not rich. Not your job. Not your mindset. Not even your spending. Just the digits nailed to your front door. Sounds like superstition? But energy doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just refuses to flow. The money that almost came, the deal that slipped, the strange streak of bad luck that makes no sense. On piece by piece, things drift away. And you wonder why life keeps almost working, but not quite. In Feng Shui, numbers aren't decoration. They're direction. They guide energy toward wealth or away from it. And the most dangerous ones, they don't look dark. They look elegant, even lucky, until you feel the patterns they carry. So today, we're decoding 7 Feng Shui house numbers. That might be draining your cash and mega luck without a single warning sign. Some are feared in the east. Some are cursed in the west. But all of them stop energy at the edge, right before it reaches you. If your home holds one of them, don't panic. You don't need to move. You just need to shift the frequency. Let's begin. Number 13, the uninvited shadow. It's just a number. But 13 doesn't sit quietly. When it marks a house, the whole space holds a different breath. The light feels slower, like it hesitates before entering. Even silence behaves differently. It's not restful, it buzzes. As if the walls are listening. As if the house is waiting for something that never fully arrives. There are homes that feel like welcome mats. And then there are homes that feel like thresholds. Number 13 is often the latter. You're allowed to enter, but something inside never fully opens. People shrug it off as superstition. But in these homes, there's a pattern you can't unsee. Things don't go terribly wrong. They just never seem to go right. It's the email that gets stuck in draft. The job offer that comes 1 week too late. The plant that almost blooms. The love that never quite lands. It's the sound of life lagging by 2 seconds. Like the home is playing catch-up. With a timeline that was meant to be smoother. You feel it in your body. In the pause before a yes. In the second guessing. In how tired you get from trying to stay positive. Number 13 homes carry this subtle static. Like luck is knocking, but the doorbell doesn't work. These homes belong to the almost, the near breakthrough, the bright ideas that never take off. People who are trying and trying again. But something always clips the momentum. They're not weak. They're not wrong. They're just dwelling in a space that keeps repeating the unfinished sentence and echoing the story that says, "You're close, but not yet." Living at number 13 is like trying to tune a radio and never quite landing on the right frequency. You hear the music, but it crackles. You adjust. It fades again. Every moment feels like it could be clear, but then the static returns, and you start wondering if the music was ever there at all. In dozens of countries, buildings skip the 13th floor. It's not just tradition. It's an energetic imprint, passed from one generation to the next. Airlines avoid row 13. Hotels jump from 12 to 14. And the human body, when surrounded by fear, even subtle collective fear, responds. The nervous system stays alert. The house never fully rests. Because numbers hold more than math. They hold memory. They hold meaning. And they imprint those meanings into the walls we live in. If your home carries the number 13, I don't fear it. But don't ignore it either. Shift the story. Start at the entrance. Add a round mirror to reflect out stagnant tension. Use a warm-toned welcome mat. Place a soft light to greet energy at the door. Write a simple intention near the frame. Only clarity and momentum live here. You are allowed to shift the narrative. This house is allowed to breathe again. They say 13 is unlucky. But if your coffee machine, your dog, and your internet all stop working on the same Monday morning, maybe it's not just the coffee. Number 4, the number of ending. Some numbers lift. They signal beginnings, movement, and possibility. But number 4 is different. It doesn't open the way. It slows things down. There's a kind of stillness that follows it. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that settles. The kind that closes in. Like a room where the air never fully circulates. Like a plan that looks perfect on paper, but never quite starts. In many Asian cultures, the word 4 sounds like death. And even if you don't speak the language, your body feels the heaviness. Because number 4 doesn't shout bad luck. It drains gently, softly, silently. You might live in a number 4 house and not notice it at first. But over time, patterns emerge. You begin projects that fizzle. You wait for clarity that never fully lands. You start things, but finishing becomes the hard part. Not because you're lazy, because the energy inside the space doesn't carry things forward. You feel it in your sleep, in your focus, in the way you slowly forget what excitement feels like. Not from burnout, but from energetic weight. These homes often hold the gentle drifters, people with soft hearts and strong dreams. But the longer they stay, the more they accept stillness as a way of life. They stop asking for more, not because they're content, but because hope feels like a lot of effort. And they've made peace with the slow fade of momentum. They smile, they function, but deep down, something inside them quietly stopped blooming. Living in a number 4 house is like watering a plant that never grows taller. You show up, you care, you follow all the right steps, but nothing breaks through. You check the soil. You move it near light, but the air around it remains still, too still. Environments shape behavior. When the space around you carries stillness, your nervous system adapts to that frequency. You may sleep longer but feel less rested. You may make decisions slower. You may begin to expect things to stall, not because of who you are, but because of what your space keeps echoing back. And when that echo comes from a number that symbolizes ending, your habits begin to shrink. If your home holds this number, there is nothing wrong with you. But the space may need to remember how to move again. Begin with rhythm. Add wind chimes near the door. Use sound that flow soft music, bells, a water feature. Hang art that shows movement. Paint something red or gold or orange. Choose color that makes your heart sit up straighter. And once a day, light a candle. Even for 5 minutes. Fire wakes up places that forgot how to shine. Let your home know you're ready to begin again. You don't need to move mountains to shift energy. Just open the window and let the curtains remember how to dance. Number 666. The Devil's Code. Some numbers feel harmless at first glance. But 666 carries a tension that doesn't show its face. It's subtle, almost elegant, too symmetrical, too perfect. It sits on a house like a sealed envelope. Beautiful, untouched, but strangely unreadable. There's something beneath the surface. A whisper of something out of place. Like the walls are holding back a truth. And the light feels bright but not warm. In Western symbolism, 666 is known as the number of illusion. It doesn't cause chaos. It hides it. You walk into a 666 house and everything looks in order. Beautiful design, organized kitchen, smooth routines. But there's a hollowness beneath it all, a pressure to keep it together, to look like you have it all, even when you feel nothing inside. Money enters, but it slips away in strange ways. Relationships look polished, but they lack emotional depth. You're always cleaning, fixing, adjusting, but never arriving at ease. This isn't a house that breaks. It's a house that drains quietly. The kind of space where everything is slightly off, but just enough to make you doubt your own intuition. This is often the space of the overperformer. The one who knows how to host the dinner, balance the budget, answer emails at midnight. They smile often, but inside they're running. Not towards something, but away from emptiness. These homes attract those who are praised for holding it all together, while slowly forgetting what it means to feel whole. They are admired by many, but deeply lonely, because the house never truly reflects them. It reflects who they think they should be. Living in a 666 house is like walking through a department store showroom. Everything looks perfect, but nothing belongs to you. You admire it, but you can't relax in it. It's beautiful, but it asks you to play a role. Every moment feels staged, and the silence feels like a camera waiting for you to smile. In psychology, this kind of constant performance can trigger low-level stress. Your nervous system never switches off. Your mind keeps editing. You worry about appearances more than alignment. Over time, this disconnect can lead to burnout, insomnia, or decision fatigue. Not because of what's happening outside, but because of what the environment keeps reinforcing. 66, the 6th of May, not bring disaster. But it can create a long, quiet exhaustion. One that makes you feel like abundance is always around the corner. but never quite at your feet. If you live in a 666 house, the goal is not to fear it. It is to soften the illusion, bring authenticity back into the space, remove things that feel overly decorative but emotionally empty, add imperfect personal touches, a handmade item, a crooked photo you love, a candle you light without reason. Play music that makes you exhale, not impress, and speak aloud an intention. This home reflects who I truly am, not what the world expects me to be. Perfection looks good in photos, but healing happens in homes where the dishes don't match and the laughter is a little too loud. Number 44. The double death. Some numbers feel quiet, but 44 feels final. It looks balanced, even graceful, but beneath the symmetry lies a weight, like two doors closing at the same time, like a pause that forgets how to unpause. There are homes where light lingers, and then there are homes where the light hesitates. Number 44 homes often feel beautiful, but still, not calm. Still, in many cultures, the number 4 carries the vibration of endings. When it repeats itself, that energy amplifies. It becomes a mirror of closure, of stalled energy, of potential trapped in cycles. In number 44 homes, it's common to feel emotionally exhausted. You rest, but you don't feel restored. You try to move forward, but things pull you back. Projects get repeated. Conflicts return. You may find yourself living the same month over and over, not out of comfort, but out of invisible loops. The house doesn't attack. It repeats until your spirit gets tired of trying to escape. This is the home of the emotional recycler, someone who keeps revisiting old memories, old goals, old wounds. They crave change, but feel guilty letting go. They are often generous, reliable, but they carry weight that isn't theirs. And their home reflects that by holding on to energies that should have been released long ago. Living in a 44 house is like keeping every notebook you've ever written in. You tell yourself it's for the memories. But the truth is, you're afraid to let go of the pages you didn't finish. So you carry all of them, even the ones that only hold hesitation. In neuroscience, the brain tends to follow loops it's familiar with. When an environment holds repeating symbols of stuckness, like the double 4, your mind can mirror that cycle. It becomes harder to take risks, to change direction, even to declutter. Because everything feels like it still has meaning, even if that meaning is long expired. Your space begins to reinforce emotional repetition until forward becomes foreign. If your address holds number 44, begin with intentional release. Write down a memory, a habit, or a fear that keeps repeating in your life. Then fold it and place it under a stone outside your door. Let the earth hold it, not your walls. Inside, shift the layout slightly. Move a table. Change the flow of a hallway. Disrupt the cycle physically, so the energy can rewrite itself. And most importantly, say it out loud. I release what no longer returns joy. Some things repeat because they're unresolved. Others repeat because we never told them they could leave. Number 808, 818th, false fortune. Some numbers whisper wealth. They shine just enough to make you believe. 808, 818. They look lucky. They sound rich. But the energy is slippery. Like a coin that spins fast, then falls flat. You don't see chaos in these homes. You see ambition. But under the surface, everything feels slightly out of sync. Like momentum with no landing. Number 8 is a symbol of abundance. But when surrounded by 0 or mirrored into loops, it turns unstable. 808 begins, then empties. 818 rises, then reverses. In homes with these numbers, it's common to feel the rhythm of almost. The raise that comes with more expenses. The win that triggers a quiet loss. You take one step forward, but something else slips behind. The energy isn't blocked. It's misdirected. You're not stuck. You're running in circles that look like progress, but leave you in the same place. These homes often attract the hustlers, the go-getters, the always striving. They have vision. They have fire. But they rarely feel fulfilled because rest feels wasteful and presence feels like slowing down. They are admired for chasing dreams, but deep inside, they don't know what it means to feel arrived. Living in a house like 808 or 818 is like being on a treadmill with a VR headset. You feel like you're moving. You sweat. You try. But the view keeps changing, while your body stays in one place. You feel tired, but not accomplished. In behavioral science, this is called the productivity illusion. You measure effort, not outcome, and when your space reflects that loop, like 8, surrounded by 0 or echoing itself, your brain starts craving motion over meaning. You check boxes. You complete goals. But you rarely pause to ask, is this taking me somewhere that nourishes me? Your space keeps you busy, but not clear. If your address holds 808, 818, or any chasing number, shift your rhythm. Place a grounding object near the entrance. A heavy bowl. A stone tray. Something that says, this is where energy stops and stays. Inside, create moments that don't perform. A book you read slowly. A corner with no purpose but comfort. A candle you light without needing a reason. Let your home feel like a finish line, not another starting point. It's okay to want more, but your house should never make you feel like you haven't earned the right to rest. Number 0, the hollow door. 0 doesn't knock. It doesn't echo. It simply exists. A circle with no center. A space that holds nothing and invites nothing in return. When 0 marks a home, The silence is different. It doesn't calm, it disconnects. It's the kind of quiet that feels like absence, not peace. In Feng Shui, 0 is not a beginning. It's a void, a placeholder for potential that never becomes form. When 0 appears in house numbers, especially as the only number, or at the start, it often signals homes where energy doesn't land. Ideas pass through. Money passes through. Love, intention, hope. They come in, but they rarely stay. You might feel like you're always setting things up, always preparing, but nothing ever feels anchored. The space feels like a waiting room, and life moves elsewhere. This is often the home of the gentle avoider, someone who doesn't want to cause waves, who likes calm, but quietly fears commitment. They want safety, but mistake numbness for peace. They keep things minimal, tidy, but not alive. They dream of a new chapter, but rarely write the first sentence. And they tell themselves that's okay, even when it doesn't feel okay. Living in a 0-numbered house is like renting a hotel room you never unpack in. You sleep, you function, but you never truly arrive. Your suitcase stays zipped, and your heart does too. Environmental psychology shows that homes missing focal points, like clear entrances or anchoring visuals, can create chronic disconnection. You move. You do. But your nervous system never quite lands. It mirrors the environment and begins to operate as if home is temporary, even when you've been there for years. 0 energy is not dangerous. It's dissolving. It makes things feel optional, forgettable, like you're living in parentheses. If your home includes 0, bring in something to ground your presence. Add an altar, a photo wall, a loud artwork, anything that says, "This is someone's space. This is mine." Use scent. Burn incense or essential oil near the front door. Let the space recognize you. Anchor it with story, with scent, with intention, and speak to your space, even softly. You know me now. I live here. 0 doesn't mean nothing. It means waiting. And your home might just be waiting for you to finally claim it. Number 21, the broken ladder. Some numbers climb, but 21 climbs fast, then disappears. It feels like a ladder that's missing its top rung. You rise. You stretch. You almost touch the thing you've been chasing. And then it slips. Not because you weren't ready, but because the last step wasn't there. Homes with number 21 feel like a sentence interrupted, a rhythm broken mid-beat. The number 2 carries connection, flow, and partnership. The number 1 carries individuality and starting energy. When placed together as 21, they often create a split between outward movement and inward uncertainty. You might feel like everything should be working. You have tools. You have support. You have resources. But something inside resists. Plans look good, but they fall apart right when they should be blooming. It's not sabotage. It's fragmentation. Your home feels supportive one day, then strangely disconnected the next. This is often the home of the late bloomer, the one who has so much to offer, but carries invisible delays. They believe in growth, but never feel caught up. They're always trying to fix something, to catch a wave that already passed. They are thoughtful, creative, but they carry the fatigue of people who never got a clean win, only near misses. Living in a number 21 house, that is like being in a play, where you never get to perform the final scene. You rehearse, you show up, you put in the effort, but right before the curtain rises, something always cancels the spotlight, and you're left clapping for a version of success that never arrived. When we experience repeated near success, the brain can start associating effort with letdown. This builds what psychologists call anticipatory fatigue. You lose motivation, not because you're lazy, but because your nervous system no longer trusts good things to last. If your home reflects this loop, you may begin to prepare for disappointment, even before it happens. If your address includes 21, build energy in layers, not leaps. Create rituals that start and finish. Light a candle, watch it burn, then snuff it out with intention. Hang a vertical art piece, something that visually completes an upward movement. Place grounding objects near your entrance. Let your space relearn the feeling of full arrival. Say it clearly, out loud, every day if you need to. I allow good things to reach me, fully, without interruption. Not everything has to be a lesson. Sometimes the happiest shift is letting yourself arrive and finally stay. If you've been living with one of these Feng Shui mistakes, it's not just a number, it's an energy code. And that code might be blocking your clarity, your cash, or your confidence. Unlucky house numbers aren't always obvious. They often look balanced, even lucky. But what they carry is stuckness. The kind that drains your money quietly. The kind that delays your next chapter without you ever noticing. But energy is not fixed, and your home can shift. If you've ever lived in a space that felt almost right, but never fully supported you, don't share your story below. Tell us what number followed you, and what you're ready to let go of. This channel is for those who feel it. The tension, the hidden heaviness, the quiet drain. If that's you, tap like, subscribe, and share this with someone who keeps almost making it. Because sometimes blocked energy isn't about effort. It's about alignment. Your space speaks. Wisdom listens.